All right, my life was just interrupted right now, so I'm just starting fresh. So why do we react? Isn't this strange? Why do we get so emotionally caught up and all involved into what's happening? When my own guide asked me that, I didn't have an answer. He actually asked me that after I had seen through the illusion that there is a reason to react. And I thought, is this weird? Didn't I think my second name was God? And I could always have it my way and make others do what I wanted them to do? How weird was that? But I really had thought that. It's really hard to think of that because it's just so strange. Well, that's what happened, and that's what happened to all of us as long as we haven't seen through this fetter. And we think it's perfectly fine. Of course we react. We're human. That's something that's very often said. Aren't we human? We should react. Do you experience the same? Do you get angry when something doesn't go the way you want it to happen? Or do you pursue your desires at all costs? Though you already found out that fulfilling your desires doesn't really work. It's more like drinking salt water. It just makes you more thirsty. My name is Christiane, and I help you to find awakening in this lifetime. So let's have a look what's going on with desire and ill will. If you have a question, please write them down in the comments. I will look into them after I talked, so I don't forget my words, because that happens rather easily. So reactivity happens because we assume that there is a driving force that basically forces us to react. Wanting, not wanting, desire, or aversion, ill will, that's what we feel. And it's so compelling that the reactions just start running without even giving it a second thought. Now, the question we ask in this inquiry is, do desire and ill will truly exist? What is this wanting and not wanting? Can you find it? You might say, of course, I feel them every day. It's an everyday experience. But is that true? Let's have a look. So, this is how you look for desire and ill will. Today, several people wrote that their worst issue right now is that they can't get through this fetter, through the assumption that there is indeed something why they react. It just doesn't fall off, the penny doesn't drop. And that happens in this fetter. This fetter is a rather tough one and very thick. And it might take many, many rounds to really have it drop off. So let's look at this under the microscope. What happens? Something isn't going the way you want. You want to awaken in this lifetime, and yet the second step already doesn't let you get ahead. You're stuck in it. The fetter doesn't fall. You're still reacting. You still feel you want and don't want things. And though you clearly see that there is nobody who could do that, it's still happening. Oh, maybe you could say, oh, it's just happening, no problem. I don't have anything to do with it. No, it's not a problem, except it can cause some disturbances in your relationships. But it shows that the tendencies which fabricate the illusion are intact, and the illusion as well. So the illusion that there is something making you react. We think something happens, there is an issue, then sensations come up. And this is a stage many people don't notice, because reactivity sets in so immediately that they don't notice, how does this actually make me feel like? How do I feel when this happens? This is very important to notice. Notice which sensations are in your body. You may have names for that, like you feel helpless, powerless, defeated maybe. Now have a look for which sensations are called helpless or powerless or defeated. All right, you found the sensations. Since this is really hard to do in the situation where you react, and when you react and you're red hot fury about something, it's much easier to take it into your consciousness lab and reproduce the situation when you're on your own and can quietly watch it. The reaction will be much less compulsive, and you'll be more easily able to watch what's going on. So we take this thing in the lab condition. For that, we make a sentence about what's happening. For example, I don't know whether I'll awaken in this lifetime, or I don't know whether I can see through the fetters 4 and 5. Now, you might be tempted to say, I don't know whether I'll ever see through this fetter, or whether I'll ever awaken in this lifetime. Yeah. This is tricky. In the sentence, we only use the facts. So the facts are, you don't know whether you'll see through this fetter or awaken in this lifetime. When you say, I don't know whether I'll ever awaken, then the reaction is already built into the sentence, because ever is emotionally charged. And the emotional charge is what tells you that you are reacting. So we leave the word ever aside and just say, I don't know whether I'll see through this fetter. Or if you're afraid you won't make it in this lifetime, just say, I don't know whether I'll awaken in this lifetime. Okay. You'll notice that some sensations arise. Maybe a kind of icky feeling in the stomach, or pressure on the heart. Thoughts might start off commenting, that's already the reaction. Go back and find out how it makes you feel. How do you feel facing the situation? How do you actually feel? When you do this for yourself, take your time and really find out and feel the sensations. Usually now we think it doesn't feel good and something needs to be done about it. We not always think that, but most often a reaction immediately sets in now. And so it is as if there is something between these not so nice sensation and the reaction that starts the reaction. Something has to start it. It doesn't just start on its own. I know that because when the assumption is seen through, when it's clearly seen that there is nothing starting the reaction, then the reactions don't start. It's that simple. So the assumption is in place that something starts the reaction, and now you do it just like with the self. You simply look for what starts the reaction. It's that simple. In the next step, the reaction has already started. That's the 4th step in this reaction program that's running. You become angry, sad, maybe fidgety, frustrated. Your thoughts are kind of searching around, what else could you do? Watch some more YouTube videos with some spiritual teachers, or maybe just change your behavior, just don't react. It won't work. So this is what reactions could look like. All right, I'll recap. First, there is the issue. You take it with a sentence into the lab. I don't know whether I'll awaken in this lifetime. I don't know whether I'll see through this fetter. Second, feel the sensations. How does this make you feel? Sensations always come up with any experience, even with any thoughts, and they will always be there, so you won't get rid of them. You won't turn numb to unpleasant sensations. Third, now this is the space where the trigger should be found, or the agent that starts the reaction. What is it that does that gets you to explode? What starts that? Where does that originate? And fourth is the reaction. When you're reacted, you're in the fourth step. From there, you can't actually watch what triggers it, because you passed the point, it's already triggered. So you have to be in the sensations, staying with the sensations, feeling them. I know it can feel really icky and bad and very, very uncomfortable. Sit through this. You can do that. It won't hurt you. It's just sensations, nothing else. Just sit through it, feel it. And while feeling it, wait for what arises that starts the reaction. Nothing more is needed. Waiting for what it is that rises, that starts the reaction, is the secret sauce. And what makes this inquiry different to behavioral training. So you sit and sit and sit. You can do that 4 times a day for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't do it more often, because otherwise you just get desensitized without the insight that we're actually looking for. So you do that several times a day for several days. It usually doesn't need many days. This is actually not hard. Quite contrary to what many people believe, it's not hard. Just to deal with one issue can be done in a short time. So you sit with the situations, and you'll notice within a few days the sensations will become less. You won't feel them that well any longer. What you then do is you add "so what" to the sentence. I don't know whether I'll awaken in this lifetime. So what? This is not to belittle it. This is to ask the agent that starts the reactivity to show itself. So what if it doesn't happen? The trigger should be right there now. Is it? Can you find it? And when the sensations to the second sentence go down and you can hardly feel them any longer, then take the so-called positive sentence, which actually tells the situation in a not negated way. So it would be like, I am not right now seeing through this fetter. This fetter doesn't fall. Feel the sensations. Wait for what starts the reaction. It is somehow as if your whole being has to get that there is nothing. So do it again and again. Even if nothing shows, stay in this empty gap, you could call it, in this dynamic state, waiting for the trigger to arise. Just stay there. Your whole being needs to grasp it, and your being only understands experience, not words. I could talk for ages, it wouldn't get it. You need to experience that there is nothing. Really sit with there being nothing. When this theta falls, you'll notice a shift. And also the reactivity to this issue should be gone. If it's still there, you're not quite there yet. Keep doing the same. In this theta, we only work with one exercise. This exercise. There are some variations of it, but it all comes down to this one. All right, now let's see whether you got any questions. Hang on. Hi, Lydia, Sue, Colette, Lake, Sagara. So do you have any questions about desire and ill will, how to look into them? You probably have a different issue. It's not about it not dropping maybe, but maybe about something else. You would just do the very same. You would ask yourself, okay, what's wrong? How do I want the situation? This is the base. How do I want this? It's all right to say, this is how I want it to be. Then you just say, listen, this isn't. For example, let's take a situation, your child doesn't brush their teeth, or your child gets a fit when it does get sweets when you're grocery shopping. And then just imagine how you would like the situation to be. You like John to just be quiet when you are shopping, buy what you agreed on for him in sweets and not anymore. So then you could say, John doesn't stay quiet while grocery shopping, accepting the sweets we agreed upon, for example. And then you do just the very same. You feel the sensations. Often that sensations is connected with some shame because, you know, everybody else is looking at you, thinking, oh my God, how do they raise their children? Why can't they do a better job? So this child won't get a fit here, things like that, right? But don't worry. Just feel the sensations. You only need to feel the body sensations. You can go beyond the names. And then look, what triggers this reaction? What starts your reaction? Maybe you also get very angry at your child when you're in the grocery store. What is it that could start such a reaction? Just wait for it. Wait for it. Really keep watch. That's the secret sauce. Do it. You can do it. It's really not hard. It's that simple. Just stay in this very narrow lane. It's a very narrow lane, I know. And it might be boring, really boring. Yeah, never mind. Just stay with it. Just stay with it. Then you get through it. All right. Any questions? None? Okay. Then I say goodbye for today. Have a nice day, and do keep inquiring into this and just stay in the lane. Just stay in your lane with that. It will fall. If it doesn't fall, the self-illusion isn't seen through. That's the only reason why it can't fall. Otherwise, it will fall. The self-illusion is the eye of the needle for this inquiry. Okay, bye-bye for now.